So you've obviously had a very personal experience of this being with cystic fibrosis. For those who don't, can you explain what cystic fibrosis is and how it affects you for those who may not be aware?
Yes, of course. So cystic fibrosis is a genetic condition which basically all the fluids in my body are too thick, but especially the lining of the lungs. So there's a mucous membrane that we all have around our lungs, and it basically protects the organ a little bit, but it's a perfect breeding ground for bugs because the lungs are warm. They're full of food because there's a lot of blood going there and there's lots of air. So it's a perfect breeding ground for bugs. And in most people, that's not a problem because this stuff's about the thickness of water. So nothing can hang around. It gets moved around and moved out fairly quickly. In people with things like CF, it can be as thick as cement. But, in most people's cases, it's somewhere between runny honey and cement. And so the bugs get trapped. And so they grow and multiply. And a lot of these bugs are really damaging to humans, live in, say, your lungs long enough to get to be a problem. These bugs might need 6, 12, 18 weeks to be able to get to a point that it would cause you a problem. In my lungs or someone with CF's lungs, that's easier than in, say, your lungs.
I mean,
So we often end up very prone to chest infections. Most
Mhm.
of us do actually also have asthma because of how it's defined, narrowed airways. And we also don't digest our food properly. So we have to take enzyme pills for that. Our food, we're technically now undernourished, or we have to eat more to stay nourished. And, we don't put on weight properly. You need the weight to maintain your health. And it just basically all becomes a vicious cycle.